Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6, where we are going to be diving into self sabotage and your CRNA journey. I was actually going to do this episode a little bit later down the line, but in chatting with a lot of you over on Instagram, emails, what have you, I am seeing this come up time and time again. And I'm like, you know what? It is time to talk about it. So I am going to address self sabotage here today. It's going to be a mindset plus a strategy episode, which is literally going to be gold for y'all. And it's a big peek into the work that I do with my coaching clients. So we're going to discuss today, number one, why you self sabotage, the sneaky ways you do it, and what you can actually do about it. All right. So let's dive right in. But I do want to say that I have a little warning. If you feel seen by some of what I talk about today, do not beat yourself up. I simply want this episode to bring you awareness to when you self sabotage, how you like to do it, right? Because awareness brings authority. When we know about something, then we can do something about it. Okay. So, no beating yourself up. We're just going to be aware of it. All right. And in researching this topic, and utilizing what I've learned working with all of you, I want to define self-sabotage like this. It's like a Ferris wheel that you refuse to get off of. You keep getting to the bottom, but you never open the door to get out because you're convinced that what is waiting for you is not really for you, or you're also scared, right? Self sabotage is literally the response your body has, the stress response that your body has when you're on the brink of change, when you are starting to outgrow who you once were. So, this is when you're applying to CRNA schools, when you're starting CRNA school, when you're starting clinicals, and even when you're about to graduate. It's that I've never been here before, or maybe I have been here before and it didn't work out. I didn't get into CRNA school before, or, school is not going well. I had a bad day at clinical. It's the, oh my God, I'm going to have to risk failing. I'm going to have to risk feeling stupid. I'm going to have to risk rejection, which could be this big hit to my ego, to my comfort, to what's familiar to me. And it's simply scary AF, right? So when something new is happening, your body's responding with all this stress because it's new. And your brain is just like, you know what? F it, forget it, let's not do it, right? And you're like, okay, cool, you're right, let's not do it, right? And then all of a sudden you find yourself not where you want to be. You're like, I'm behind, I suck, I shouldn't be here, I can't do this, what is wrong with me? And then you start looking for all this evidence as to why all these negative things that you are saying about yourself and the situation are actually true, which is going to further fuel your belief that you can't do this, that you can't handle it. It's not for you, right? Who am I to do this? I should just give up. And then you want to ease. The thing is, you don't like feeling like that. It's like this kind of spiral. And so you want to ease all the discomfort and run away and resist the feelings of disappointment. Gross. No one likes that. Shame. Ugh. Anxiety. Woo. Right? You want to ease that. So you self sabotage. You don't think that you're worthy enough for the next level of the thing that you want. Self sabotage, literally at its core, is a worthy problem. And I'm going to go a step further and say it's a forgetting who you are problem, right? Because all of that discomfort that I just talked about, those icky emotions, if we give in to that and listen to that, it keeps us small. Because instead of pushing past those things, we self sabotage because that is more comfortable and feels safer. And sometimes, y'all, we don't even know when we're doing this. That's the thing. It can be unconscious, or consciously. We can be doing these things, right? Because it's literally a coping mechanism to ease what we don't want to feel. So then we avoid what we know we need to do. And some of us even dumb down our dreams. And I'm talking to y'all who are not getting those applications in. I'm speaking to you. Don't dumb down your dreams because you feel uncomfortable. Okay. It's like this incongruence. And, we're nurses, right? We know that the human body, our patients, their body wants balance and homeostasis always, right? Always. That's why we have jobs, okay? Because we want to help bring our patient's body back into a state of equality or homeostasis. And the same goes for you. Your next level brings a lot of discomfort, right? And you think it's up high, like it's up here, and then you think that you're down here and not deserving of that, or that you can't handle it. So in order to level that out and to make yourself feel better, you either going to dumb the dream down, or you just dumb yourself down by convincing yourself that there's no way this can't be for you, right? Like, I can't do this. So you bring everything down to you instead of elevating your sense of self-worth and remembering who you are and all that you have overcome thus far. And yes, old habits die hard, but those habits have made you feel safe, right? Those habits that don't serve us, they're there for a reason. They're a coping mechanism. They're making us feel safe. But we have to recognize that sometimes playing it safe and just running away from feeling icky due to fear, it keeps us small. So there was a researcher that I found that has done a ton of work on this topic. I will link his TED Talk below. It was super powerful. His name is Shirzad Shamin. He's a New York Times bestseller. He does like Stanford lectures. But he came out with some research, and he's called like self-sabotage. He's called them like saboteurs. Like, we all have these saboteurs in us that are trying to sabotage us when we are going for the next level. So I'm going to go through these very quickly. And I want you to look at them as I'm kind of going through these saboteurs. I want you to look at them as like friends, okay? We're not going to like get mad and get negative and get upset. We're just going to be like, okay, these are friends that just want to protect me. And if I give these friends a little bit of attention, right? If we have awareness, we have authority. If I just be aware and give a little bit of attention to these friends here that are trying to protect me, actually, they will actually start to recede a little bit, okay? And I also want you to reflect on, as I'm going through these, which one is your go-to? We all have our go-to, by the way. We all have one saboteur that is literally the loudest voice in our head, our go-to. So whether you are a nurse embarking on CRNA apps, or you're in the middle of application cycles, possibly waiting on interviews, about to interview, waiting on an interview, if you're in CRNA school, if you are about to graduate, about to start a new job, this applies to all of these moments because you are pushing past what you once were. And that's why your brain is trying to sabotage you. This is literally the universality of being human. Okay. All right, let's have some fun. Let's go through some of these. So, first saboteur is judge. I say like judge, jury, and prosecutor. This is beating yourself up, or actually beating yourself down, right? Treating yourself poorly. So think about, is that you? Are you like the king or queen of beating yourself up? If something doesn't go your way, or you don't perform, you're not productive, right? Judge, jury, and prosecutor. Second one is the hypervigilant saboteur. That is like intense anxiety, right? This is the what if I fail? What if I look dumb? What if this happens? What if they don't like me, right? You're hyper vigilant. You're anxious, super worried about the what ifs, right? The avoider and the procrastinator is the third one. And you guys know who you are. The fourth one is the restless one. This is, and I will literally be totally honest, this is me. This was me in my 20s, all right? So you're never at peace. You're never content. Nothing is good enough. You're always like, what's next? What's next? What's next? I have to stay busy. I need that dopamine hit. I want to have a win. I need to have a victory. I need to feel better, right? I need more. I need more, more, more. Nothing is good enough because you don't think that you're good enough. So you're trying to be good enough by trying to find something outside of you to make you feel better. If that's not me, I don't know what is. Me in my 20s, okay? So restless. The controller. This is the person who is like the people police. Like you are so concerned with what everyone else is going on and what they should and shouldn't be doing. We call them controlling people's manuals in my coaching program. Like you have the book of what people should be doing and you're out there trying to control everything. Usually a high anxiety person and someone who is highly impatient. Okay. The next one is the stickler. This is my perfectionists and the chronic organizers, right? These are the ones that are like, okay, I'm going to pretty everything up. I'm going to get some new highlighters. I'm going to like shuffle some papers. I'm going to get everything looking perfect and good. And then I will be able to do better. That's the stickler. And my hyper achievers, I have to be the best. I have to be liked. I need validation. I have to get all A's. Look at me over here, achieving all the things, but I'm actually kind of a hot mess express. Woo. Okay, next one. The pleaser. If I flatter people, everything will be fine, right? I want to belong. I want to be accepted. I want it so bad that I actually lose myself. I lose who I am because I'm so concerned with being who people want me to be. Belonging to others is more important than belonging to yourself and who you are. It's like I'm talking to myself with that one too. Woo. Okay, 2 more guys. You guys okay? Hyper rational one. These are the people that the world sees as very arrogant, as not caring. They're the ones that are like, whatever, it's cool. I'm cool. I'm checked out, right? That's like the hyper rational one. You have to rationalize everything that you feel like there's like no feelings at all. Like, are they like a robot? All right. And then the victim one. I think we all know what the victim one is. Poor me, right? Everything is happening to me and I have no control over anything. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to summarize these things quickly, right? And what I see with some of y'all, no matter where you are at in your CRNA school process. So once again, quick little summarizing. I want you just to be aware of kind of which one you resonate with. I told you like 2 of the ones that I very much resonate with, but literally those of you that literally buy all the things, you buy highlighters, you buy pens, you buy one of those like trapper keeper things or like to organize all your papers, like you get all the things, but like buying those things don't get you A's. Oof, I know that buying things and making things organized does not get you A's. Being organized is good, but not to that extent. That is actually a form of self-sabotaging. Okay? Those of you where like literally nothing is good enough for you, so you're like chasing this good enough, but you haven't even defined what good enough is. So like when you're at clinical, I'm like, what is a win today? What is one thing that you have done at clinical that you will know when you leave that you had a win? You've got to define what a good day is for you, okay? Or else you're never going to find anything that's good enough because you don't know what is good enough. You don't have a measure for that. And perfection is a terrible metric to use. It's impossible. We're human. All right. The ones that bounce around to all these different methods. These are the ones that are like trying the Anki cards and then they're doing the Quizlet and then they're doing this and then they're doing that. Like they're literally doing a million things, right? Versus what 1 or 2 things work for them. You're self-sabotaging when you are just trying to grab all the I call it shiny squirrel syndrome, right? You're trying to just find all the shiny squirrels and put them all in your basket. And once you have them all and crack the code, then you'll get A's and you'll be fine. Self-sabotage, right? On test. And this is really one of the sneakiest ones. I've been coaching a lot of people who are working on passing their boards. And literally, we start doing some coaching. We're looking at test questions and their brain, they literally know the right answer. They know it, but they don't choose it. And that is literally fear-based. And if we unpeel all the layers, it's what if I'm not ready? What if I'm not ready for what's next? I don't know who that person is yet. I'm uncomfortable. So you sabotage because you don't think you can handle what's next. You literally unconsciously choose the wrong answer because you're scared and you're self-sabotaging yourself. Also, self-sabotage, neglecting yourself, locking yourself in a room and studying for 15 hours and talking to nobody is not helpful. You are not a machine. You are not a computer. You are a human. It's the more. If I just do more, if I'm just more productive. That's a lot of the issue with our culture, right? If we are productive, then we are worthy and we are great. But guys, you cannot lock yourself in a room for 15 hours every single day and study. You will go insane, okay? That is a form of self-sabotage. And another form of that is not using your resources, is just struggling alone. I'm the only person that feels that way. I'm the only one. It's only me. I'm just going to sit here and suffer and struggle, right? That is self-sabotage. It's those of you who are not getting your applications in. You're finding a million ridiculous reasons to not get your application in. And if we peel back all those layers, it's just because you're scared. Whether it's rejection, disappointment, can I handle this, right? You're self-sabotaging by waiting for the last second to get your personal statement done. Those of you waiting for inspiration, y'all, you can look out the window all you want, but the inspiration train is not going to just pull up and come get you. And if you're working from a place of inspiration all the time, if you're always looking for that, you're not going to get a lot done. You have to learn to come from a place of commitment. All right. And then we have the social scroller. The other one, other little inspiration seeker, just sitting on social. Everyone else is living their best life. Maybe I'll get motivated. Looking for other people to basically fix what's going on in your brain. Okay. The defensiveness, pushing people away, the victim mode. Everyone's against me. No one's likes me. I'm attacked, and not taking any ownership for whatever part you may be playing in any sort of situation, circumstance, right? That is also self-sabotaging. The researcher, the person of like, I have to know everything. This kind of goes along with the buying the pens and highlighters or like over consuming. I'm going to read this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So see, I have to know more and more and more and more. And the more and more and more you consume and go down that rabbit hole, the more you convince yourself that you're not ready. I don't know enough to go out there and apply. I don't know enough to go to clinical. I don't know enough to take this test, right? You're like, you just more. You're just researching, but you're not actively doing anything. I see this a lot with people with CRNA applications. They talk to a million people and they don't write a single personal statement, go to a single like school thing, or get their applications in. They're too busy trying to get all this information. Information gathering is not the way. We have to get into action, right? But then on the flip side, you also can't action things to death. You can't action yourself to make yourself feel better. We have to acknowledge the icky feelings that are coming up. And another way I see you guys sabotage is when things do go well and you do good, you're just like, oh, that was just a fluke. It was just a fluke. It doesn't mean anything, right? Okay. All right. Now that we are all feeling a bit called out and seen, what can we do about all of this? Okay. Now that you kind of know, okay, wow, like I'm self-sabotaging when I do this. I didn't know. Great, right? Good for me to know, right? And I will say the overall antidote that will help like heal our self-sabotage is self-compassion, guys. Self-compassion. And that is actually one of the 3 pillars that is in my coaching program. And I'm going to go through those 3 pillars now and basically show you how you can start to overcome self-sabotage right here, right now, today. Okay. So we can get our dreams done and stop dumbing things down and start elevating ourselves up to where we need to be, even if we are scared. All right. So the first thing I already said, just awareness, right? Awareness brings authority, period. Just noticing when you're doing that, like, oh, here I go again with the highlighters and the doing 50 things that actually aren't getting me to the end goal, right? Because we can't do anything about anything if we don't see it or we don't know about it. That's why some of the best friends in your life are the people that tell you the truth, because sometimes we just don't know what we're doing, right? And then once we have that awareness of where we're self-sabotaging, it's like, okay, I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm not going to shame myself for this. This is just a part of getting up every day and being a human. What would it look like if I had some compassion on myself and gave myself a little grace that I would want somebody else to give to me? What if I could provide that for myself? And start asking better questions, y'all. You're asking the wrong questions. You're saying, like, well, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? Okay, that's not a helpful question. What about I am capable of figuring anything out? If it doesn't work out the way I want it to, then how can I have my own back through that? How will I take care of myself when things don't go well? Because of course things aren't going to always go well. That's not even possible, right? And then like, okay, I can just evaluate what didn't go well. I can try again. I can refine it and I can keep on moving. Do you want to make progress? Do you want to spend your life trying to be perfect? Or do you want to spend your life making progress? Because you're never going to be perfect, but you can be better. You can be 1% better than yesterday, and you can keep doing that 1% better every single day, right? Are you focused on progress or perfection? Because progress sounds like a lot more fun to be focused on to me. We have this saying in anesthesia, the enemy of good is better. And what that means is if things are going well and they are good enough, leave it alone. Chasing perfection in the operating room is actually just going to cause problems. It's like for those of you in clinical, if you have like an LMA in, which is a laryngeal mask airway device, if you have it in and it's maybe not perfect, you have a little bit of a leak, but your patient's breathing, your sats are fine, your tidal volumes are fine, leave it alone, right? The enemy of good is better, because I guarantee you keep messing with those things, you're going to go down the whole rabbit hole of laryngospasm and a bunch of different issues, okay? So just remember that. Kristen Boss, I don't know if you know her, but she does a lot of coaching and influencing in the network marketing space. But she had a podcast on self-sabotage I listened to a long time ago, and it was a great episode. But she says, take action and let refinement be your mission. Refinement is an ongoing pursuit of excellence. Whew, I love that. Take action, do the things that matter, that are going to get you somewhere. Applying, going to clinical, scheduling your NCE, right? Let refinement be your mission, because refinement is an ongoing pursuit of excellence. Literally love that. And another powerful question you can ask yourself is, what is in my control? What can I take ownership of here? Always coming back to that. Always coming back to you, because that's where you can evoke change. Okay? So I kind of like put the two of those together. But the first pillar was an awareness of it, because awareness brings authority. The second pillar was compassion, right? Having compassion, being curious. I call it curious compassion, asking better questions than the what if I fail questions. And my third pillar is practicing courageous commitment, right? The art of practicing new things, the art of showing up. Of course, doing new things are going to be uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to become someone new. It's uncomfortable to do new things. But like, what's worse? The pain of regret, like shoulda, woulda, coulda, or the pain of I did it? I might have sucked and it might not turn out how I wanted to, but knowing that doesn't mean anything about you as a human, right? But at least you went for it. Choose your heart. Choose the kind of pain that you want to have. I would much rather have a messy, fun, amazing, gritty, risky life than one of safety. Because when things don't go well, we just reroute, right? We have to reroute that, and then we can find the lesson in it. We can become refined, and we can keep on going. You know what? I didn't get the intubation, but I sure learned about airway anatomy and positioning, right? I know that for next time. I didn't get in this time, but man, I learned so much from that interview. I now have an interview under my belt, and now I'm ready and I know exactly what I need to do for the next one, right? Get the small wins. Celebrate yourself all the way through the new stuff, right? Celebrate yourself through the discomfort. Start with something small that you know you can get done and that you can do. Start with a little tiny motion, because objects that are in motion usually stay in motion, right? It's like when you drag yourself to the gym and then you start working out and you're like, oh my God, this feels great, right? It's the same thing. Start with something small to get in motion towards the goal that you want. You actually create confidence by being consistent with the promises you made to yourself. Confidence is in your show up game. It's in your persistence. It's in your willingness to feel and scared. But instead of self-sabotaging in those ways we talked about, you do the thing that you said you would do. And you do it scared and you do it uncomfortable, but you do it anyway. Because you'd much rather, instead of living in the pain of regret, I'd much rather you live in the pain of, oh my God, I kind of failed at that. That sucks, but I'm going to try again. Do you want to live a life of safety and comfort? Or do you want to live a life of discomfort and success? Because you can't have both. You can, though, create safety for yourself while you are doing the hard things by self-care, by not beating yourself up, by having compassion on yourself, by being proud of yourself, by freaking patting yourself on the back when no one else does. I will never forget my classmate in anesthesia school. I was being all Debbie Downer and was like, I hate this. Oh my God, this is awful. And she was like, you know what? She's like, I did a MAC sedation case. She did a case by herself. Like, patient was all split open. Patient never moved a muscle. Everything went well. And I will never forget what she said. She's like, I am so proud of myself for doing that. She's like, and no one is ever going to tell me they're proud of me. No one is going to pat me on my back, but I'm going to pat myself on the back. And she did. And that always stuck with me. I love that. That's the kind of energy I want y'all to have. And honestly, you guys, that's literally anesthesia. You are only as good as your last anesthetic. And usually we have a very thankless job. The ones that really love us and celebrate us is OB. Your OB patients love you. You walk into the room, no one is happier to see you than a woman in labor. But besides that, you are simply expected to just do your job. No one is going to clap for you or roll out the red carpet when you struggle with an airway and then you get the tube in. No one is cheering for you when the blood pressure is in the toilet and then you whip out some vasopressin and save the day. Or maybe your patient was super hypotensive and you're having issues with it and you're like, oh my gosh, let me give some steroids because their HPA access is suppressed. You guys will learn that, don't worry, in school. No one is cheering for you and clapping when you get to PACU with your perfectly bundled patient who's breathing, stable vital signs, and has no pain, right? No one's doing all those things because they are just expecting you to do your job. So you cheer yourself on. Notice when you're going off the rails a little bit. Notice when you're going down shiny squirrel syndrome, victim mode, highlighter mode, whatever it is, and learn to just pull yourself in. How can I show myself compassion right now? What actually needs to get done? What is going to move me forward and what here is actually holding me back? Make your past and the future mean more, right? Learn from the past, look towards the future, make what could happen, what is going to happen, what you want to happen mean more than your fear in the present moment. Show up for the lessons, show up for the growth, show up because you deserve to have a big life and the career you dream of. Show up because it's more important to serve others than it is to worry about your ego and feeling good. Everybody self-sabotages at some point. The most successful people in the world, Taylor Swift, pro athletes. Think of somebody that you look up to. I would stake my life on it that they too have felt these very things that we have talked about today and have done these things in some form of another. It is absolutely scary to become someone new, but it's also what you're called to do. A life of service, a life of value is not in the comforts of researching, being an opinion hoarder, feeling inspired all the time, buying cute things, buying cute studying material, right? It's in taking consistent action courageously with tons of self-compassion, asking productive questions, and having a lot of awareness of yourself. So go play big, get dirty, get messy, get uncomfortable, and I want y'all to live your best CRNA life. So I will see you next time. cheer yourself. I'm cheering you on. And cheers to recognizing and also squashing your saboteurs. I will see you all on the next episode. Thank you so, so much for hanging with me today. Have a good one.